This is why you should think twice about moving in with your friends. My friend Amy and I decided to get an apartment together. We've been friends for a while and she's the type of friend that I could never get sick of and always hang out with. The first issue we had was when she started bringing her boyfriend over a few nights a week, which was fine at first. However, he started coming over more frequently to the point where he was there 6 nights a week. Her boyfriend also always parked in my designated spot, leaving me nowhere to park. On top of that, Amy and I decided we would go shopping together for food every few weeks and split the grocery bill. But her boyfriend is over constantly eating all the food that we bought, and this guy can eat. Amy also complained that the AC bill is too high and we need to stop turning down the temperature so much, and I quote, "Open the windows and rough it." I went to work one day and came back and the apartment felt almost as hot as it was outside, which was over 100 degrees. My dog lives with us, so I always try to keep the apartment cool. I immediately checked on him and went to turn on the AC. But to my shock, Amy had taken the control panel off of the wall and hid it so I couldn't adjust the temperature. I called her furious and explained to her that she could have killed my dog, to which she replied, "I'm not going to leave the AC on all day when we're gone for a stupid dog." This is when things took a turn for the worse.
This boy lied about his age just to date me. Story time. So I ran into his cousin, who just so happened to go to the same school as me. What a small world. Anyways, we start having a conversation, and she asked me, "Oh my god, are you dating Binky?" And I was like, "How do you know that?" Because at the time, I didn't know that she was his cousin. And he didn't go to the same school as me. So I didn't know how she would have known that. And then she tells me, "Oh, that's my cousin." As we're talking, she says, "Oh, are you going to go to his birthday party?" And I'm like, no, he actually didn't tell me he was having a birthday party. Weird. And she's like, "Yeah, that's really weird because it's like coming up next week." And I'm just sitting here like, well, maybe he'll tell me. He probably just had a lot on his mind. And then she says, "I can't believe he's going to be 16 already. Time flies. We're going to throw him a sweet 16 party." After she says that, I just look at her like, you mean 18, right? Like, you said 16. I think you meant 18. Sorry, there has to be a part 3.
I was in class on Zoom. I wanted to go to sleep, honestly, because, like, when I'm tired, I go to sleep. I end up falling asleep, and then class ends, and everyone starts leaving the class. Except me, because I was, like, in a whole other universe at this point. I was dreaming, I was flying. At this point, me and the teacher are alone in the call. This is the best part! Then the teacher starts talking to me, and he's like, "Samantha, wake up. Samantha, please. Samantha, you have another class." He woke me up, but I was half awake, so I didn't really know what was going on. So I thought it was my brother waking me up, and I straight up yelled. I was like, "Shut up, you fat booger." And so then I realized, oh shit, I just called my teacher a fat booger. And now he scheduled a parent conference. I'm going on Monday, so I'm really excited.
Put a finger down if from as soon as you were born, your parents would force you to watch porn, specifically a man and a woman. That way, as you grew up, you would think that relationships were supposed to be between men and women. And so every time you saw a couple of the same gender, you would automatically assume that they weren't normal and had some type of mental illness. And so when you grew up and sooner or later made a friend who you got really close with and eventually became best friends with, and she came out to you and told you she was gay, you ended up dropping her. And not only that, but made a fake page and outed her, so then the whole school knew, but she still doesn't know that it was you. And so one day when your parents who gave you that mindset died in a car crash, that friend you outed and completely violated offered to let you stay with them, and her parents would take custody of you even though you weren't as close as you used to be, and you took up on that offer and started living with her, but she still doesn't know that it was you who outed her until one day you felt too bad, so you decided to tell her. I'm running out of time, so like for part 2.
Yo abracé a la niña pobre para calmarla, ya que estaba llorando porque mi novio la había avergonzado y humillado en público. Sin embargo, a mi novio le dio completamente igual que la niña esté llorando por su culpa. Y mi novio volvió a humillar una vez más a la niña pobre. Pues cuando yo abracé a la niña pobre, mi novio me dijo a mí en voz alta: "Aléjate de esa mocosa porque seguro se te van a pegar sus piojos. Y encima te va a pegar su olor asqueroso que tiene". Todo eso lo dijo refiriéndose a la niña pobre. Lo peor de esto es que luego de que haya dicho eso último que dijo, muchas de las personas que estaban en el restaurante empezaron a burlarse de la niña pobre. Por eso en ese momento decidí responderle a mi novio, para humillarlo y avergonzarlo, así como él avergonzó y humilló a la niña pobre. Así que le dije a mi novio: "Mi amor, respeta porque todas las personas merecen respeto. Te estás comportando como un total imbécil, a tal punto de que yo tengo vergüenza de estar contigo. Por favor, discúlpate con la niña en voz alta, para que absolutamente todas las personas que están aquí te escuchen". Luego de haberle dicho a mi novio lo que acabo de decir, mi novio y muchas personas que estaban en el restaurante se empezaron a burlar de mí y de lo que había dicho. Al ver eso, decidí decirle a mi novio: "Si no te disculpas con la niña pobre en este momento, tú y yo terminamos, porque gente como tú me da asco". Comenta si quieres parte 3.
This message is for my sick best friend. If you're not her, you're still going to want to listen. I really do hope you feel better, but if you die, I'm going to do your casket makeup and only give you one eyebrow. I'm going to cut your hair and give you bangs. I'm going to make sure the outfit you wear for all of eternity is mustard yellow. I'm going to teach your girls to say that mommy's not in heaven. She just belongs to the streets. And last but not least, your tombstone's going to read, no such thing as two pretty best friends. One of them bitches always got to be dead. So I suggest you feel better soon, you big twat.
Today at work, I was trying to call my wife, but for some reason, my phone calls weren't getting through to her. So I used one of my coworkers' phones to dial my house number and call home. So I call home, and a sweet voice answers the phone. It's my daughter. I go, hey, cutie, how you doing? She goes, hey, daddy, what's up? And I go, I'm just at work. What are you and mommy doing? She says, well, I just finished lunch, and mommy's upstairs. I go, cutie, what's mommy doing upstairs? She goes, she's with Uncle Paul. And I go, Uncle Paul? We don't have an Uncle Paul. What do you mean? She's like, yeah, she's with Uncle Paul. They're upstairs in their room. So I'm like, cutie, that doesn't sound right. So what I want you to do is I want you to leave the phone on the kitchen table, go upstairs to your mommy's room and say, hey, daddy just pulled in the driveway, and tell me what happens, all right? She did it, and like a minute later, she comes back and picks up the phone and goes, okay, daddy, I did it. And I go, okay, what happened? She goes, well, mommy came running out of her room naked, and she tripped down the stairs and bumped her head, and now she can't get up. So I was like, what about the other guy? And she goes, well, Uncle Paul tried to jump out of the window into the pool, but he missed and hit the floor. Now he won't wake up. So I was like, we don't have a pool. Then I look at the phone number and I was like, oh, sorry, wrong number.
Part 2 on how I found out my dad wanted to do the nasty with me. Okay, so boom, like I said, my mom ran to my dad and slapped him. Then my mom told me to stay in my room while they, talked. She told me to get ready for bed, so that's what I did, and I went to school the next day. And guess who picked me up? Yeah, my dad. But I thought it was all good because he took me to the park and nothing happened. But I was wrong, because once we got home, my dad thought my mom was working, so he tried to do the nasty with me, and he tried to make me do stuff with him. But the gag was, my mom was in the room sleeping. She usually got off at 6, but today she got off at 2, and I got out of school around 4. Anyways, while my dad was trying to make me do things with him, I started screaming. My mom was sleeping, so once she heard me screaming, she ran to my motherfucking rescue. When I tell you my mom dealt with him, she dealt with him. Got a divorce, and now I live with her. Most importantly, he never got a chance to violate me. MVP mom.
This is how I met my soulmate without ever actually speaking to him. I work at a small family-owned ice cream shop. This really cute guy would come in every Friday around 5. I never actually took his order as I was the one making the cones and sundaes behind the counter. He would always tell my coworker taking the orders, I want whatever she's in the mood to make. Tell her to surprise me. And he would point me out. My coworker would deliver the message and he would look at me and smile. Each Friday when he came in, he would say, I'll have my regular order, whatever she wants to make. I made him something different every week. I try to be creative and give him something new and fun every time. I would try really hard not to look over at his booth, but I would always catch myself staring. He started leaving me little flirty messages on his receipt with a small cash tip at his table. I started to write back on his orders with caramel or chocolate sauce on his plate the best I could. However, it wasn't very legible or practical, so I started giving him flirty little sticky notes with his order. It made my Fridays really fun and something to look forward to. I was waiting for him to ask me for my number or to ask me out on a date so we could actually talk to each other. This went on for weeks until he finally made the cutest move ever.
I literally want to cry. So if you didn't know, I have a sister, and her name's Ashley. And we both have boyfriends. And every night we both fall asleep on the phone with our boyfriends. So one day we're all hanging out and we're like just talking. And my sister's boyfriend looks at me and he's like, you need to stop going into your sister's room in the middle of the night. And I look at him and I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't have a reason to go into her room. Like I don't go into her room, especially in the middle of the night. Then my boyfriend hops in the conversation and he's like, no. He's like, no, I hear Ashley go into Kayla's room every night and stare at her. So me and my sister both look at each other and we're like, we don't go into each other's rooms, do we? And we agreed that we do not. And they said this has been going on for months. So for months, somebody or something has been going into me and my sister's room for about 15 minutes every night and watching us sleep. But it only gets worse.
Part 2, why you need a security system for your house. The house had 2 bedrooms on either hallway and a bathroom. The bedroom doors were closed, but the bathroom door was creaked open. I was so lucky in that moment because he sprinted to the bathroom. That gave me just enough time to open the attic access in my closet and pull myself up. As I lifted myself, I heard the person run towards my room. I had just pulled my feet inside when my bedroom door burst open. He walked in and stopped. When he didn't see me, he went and checked the other room, then came back and turned on the light. A moment later, he ripped open my closet door. After a few seconds, he stepped away and I heard a loud crash come from my room, followed by a scream of frustration and anger. Then he went downstairs. I had left my phone when I ran for the closet and wasn't sure I could climb down without him hearing. After some time, the noises stopped. I counted to 1,000, then climbed down to call the police. My bed had been flipped, furniture knocked over, and all my things destroyed. The only thing missing was a knife from my kitchen. The police found that the side door had been forced open by a crowbar. They also found cigarette butts and an empty tube used for drugs. They think he had been watching the house for a while. I installed some security on the house after this. I can't imagine what would have happened if he had come to my room first.
So today I went to church to confess one of my most recent sins to the priest. So I sat in the confession booth. I told the priest, I said, "Father, I have sinned," and the priest wanted to hear all about it. So I said to him, I said, "Father,
I'm not dangerous, but I can make you bleed. I'm not dangerous. Love, love, love. Dangerous. Make you